Hey, this is Dave Sherwin. Today I'm going to do a site review of Tamara Barnes' website, Peace with Every Step. And with her permission, I'm going to make a video of this so that other members of the Black Box system can learn from her site and the review that I do, as well as for her own benefit. She actually submitted a request using the Personal Webmaster tool to use one of her hours to have us review her site. And so what we did is we divided that into two projects. And one of our developers is analyzing what we call the under the hood elements of the website. Things like the meta tags and the plugins, because this is a WordPress website, so there's a lot of plugins that she could use that would help her with her SEO, and a checklist of items that we have on every site. And he's going to go over all of those. I'm going to analyze the front end of the website and give some feedback on that. The first thing that jumps out at me that I really like is the picture. Now some people have done studies of social marketing and found, particularly in Facebook or Twitter, that the number one reason why people would invite someone to be a friend, or on Twitter, for example, the number one reason people will follow another person is because of their smile. And I think that applies pretty much everywhere. And so it's a great picture. You can see a little bit of naturalness behind the image, but that's one thing I really like and jumps out at me. Great smile, nice picture, professionally done. And that's great. Same with the imagery up above. So I like the header. I like the picture of Tamara. So those graphics are great. Through here and down the left and underneath, though, there's quite a bit of text. And so one of the things I would look at is I'm not a fan of 3-column blogs. And the reason why is they tend to look a little bit cluttered. So there's a lot going on here. We've got all these links over here. We've got this short article down the side. We've got the testimonial here, which is great, right there front and center, to have a testimonial and social validation of a successful person who's worked with Tamara. That's great. But the 3 columns tends to, where does the eyeballs go? It tends to break up the site a little bit too much. I'd recommend going with a 2-column site, making sure that all the important elements are above the fold, meaning everything we have to scroll down to is below the fold. So here's below the fold, here's above the fold. So let's make sure that the picture stays above the fold. As a matter of fact, right here, the sign up for our newsletter should be above the fold, but it's currently not. That's one of the things I'd recommend you change. And adding more graphics or other things that would break up some of this text would be good. For example, the Straight Talk About Hypnotherapy. I'm sure this is an interesting article, but I bet there's a lot of people who don't read it because it looks a little bit intimidating, believe it or not, because there's no white space. If all you did, for example, is hit a hard return twice right here in front of both, so we ended up with white space right here and a little tiny paragraph and another little tiny paragraph and then another little tiny paragraph, more people would read it if you simply broke that up. Another thing you can do to get that same effect and make it a little bit easier and less text heavy is, of course, adding images or bullets or checklist type of items. So think that through. Another thing that I'd recommend is that you change this right here. There are bots that scrape websites looking for email addresses, and if you haven't been spammed yet because of this, you will. So you'll want to change this little contact me area. It looks like there was a copy and paste problem here, and you see how the phone number is a little bit messed up, and then it says begin of the Skype highlighting right here, and it probably shouldn't be there. I would just take this information, and maybe you could do another webmaster request. This would be something that would be quite easy for us, for example, and have our guys make you a nice little graphic that says contact me at, includes your email, your phone number, and then this little piece is only a step away saying on a graphic. So then the bots can't scrape the graphic because they can't read what's on an image. So you get away from the spam issue. And again, we're creating an image here rather than text, and that again will be a little bit more. Again, people just don't like to read, and so you have to cut down on text and add imagery, bullets, etc. To get more interaction with your website. Another thing you want to think about is what is the call to action. You've got a variety of things people can do when they arrive at your site. Here they can Click here to see the interview with Around Here magazine, which is not only going to give good information, but it's a credibility thing for you, so that's great. You've got the email me or call me. You've got sign up for the email newsletter. But none of them really jump out or more prominent. This one probably is because it's at the top and in the middle. But I would really think through, what is the thing you want them to do the most? And I would make that obvious. And call to actions are very important on a website. And so I would decide, what do I want them to do more than anything else on this website? And then make your copy and the layout of your site around that major call to action or major thing that you most want them to do. And do the same analysis on each of your different websites. So those are my recommendations for improvement. You can take them or leave them. I mean, just because I like these things that I've talked about doesn't mean you have to do them. But these are just recommendations and things based on my experience and things that I would recommend. And then if you don't like the 2-column thing, you need to at least look at this one column where there's a space issue going on. You can see how it says behavioral thera, and of course the P and the Y are cut off. So this is a little bit funky right here. I don't know why. Something going on with your theme. And so I would take a look at that as well. And so, and then we have another client intake form right here, which I just barely noticed. So again, that's fairly quiet. And if that's the major call to action, is to have them fill out a client intake form, I would make that more prominent. If it's something that you want someone to fill it out after you've spoken to them on the phone, for example, and you say, now go to my website and download the client intake form and fill it out, I might have had trouble finding that. And so there again, you might want to just look at that and maybe give the focuses where you want the focus, and do a little bit more organizing on where things go. The intake form, if it's really important, could even be, you can even have a new client intake page and add a new link right over here, and perhaps even create an interactive one where when they click on it, all the fields are right there and they simply start filling them out and they get submitted to you. Again, that's something we can do for you through your membership in the Black Box system if you want us to create a form that would then email you all of that information. So hopefully this has been helpful, Tamara, and to those of you who are not Tamara, hopefully it's been helpful to you as well. This is Dave Sherwin wishing you massive success in your business.